Captioning of this program is brought to you in part by KPMG Enterprise, your private company advisor.
We're back with Stars and Dogs, and we're talking retail. We've got Rick Pennycooke, a retail expert. He's going to be giving us a pitch on what one company thinks is a star. He's president of the Lakeshore Group. He's been watching merchants for many a long year. Great to have you back on the show.
Always
Rick.
good to be on.
Just off the news, Loblaw reporting tomorrow. What do you think? Are they managing to turn around the ship here?
No, not yet. I'm still waiting, and quite frankly, I think the stores are not looking that great. So I'm not expecting anything great. Although I'm not a stock analyst, I just haven't seen on the floor dramatic changes.
Still out of stocks, merchandise not there when it should be?
Yeah, still have those problems, and the stores just aren't looking that great. I think the big problem is they're just not exciting. It's just not exciting like they used to be when the previous regime was in.
I guess the other grocers improved their game, and so they don't stand out like they used to as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's get on to your star, Costco, one of the great retail successes in America.
Yes.
Just had an earnings warning, unusually for them. Yeah. Fascinating. I mean, they're big warehouse stores, but they've obviously raised it. You can go buy luxury goods there. And
right.
So they've redefined it. You got 30 seconds to tell us why you like it.
I love them. They're an upscale discount retailer. I love them because they've got great prices, great selection, and they sell necessities, near necessities, and wow goods. And no matter how bad the economy is going to go, people still need to eat. And 60% of their revenue comes from the supermarket side, the grocery side. So I really like them. They execute extremely well. It's great that the membership fees go right to their bottom line, but they really deliver with that. I think 85 to 90% of members renew every year, so they're doing something right. People are not joining up and then being disappointed and not coming back.
People do need to eat, but did they need to eat 24 cans of tuna and clean it up with 30 rolls of paper towel? I tell you, I partly joke about that, but partly when you talk about the Costco shopping experience, it's a huge dollar ring. That shopping basket is expensive when you leave that store. And I'm wondering if you're concerned that people's, the fear of their job, the value of their house, all those things would have them buy smaller amounts at a lower dollar ring.
Yeah, actually, I think a lot of the analysts are saying that people tend to buy in bulk when they're worried about things that they can stock up.
Right, for the bomb shelter.
That's right. But if you look closely at the merchandise, they're selling a lot of standard-sized products and not 5 of them together. You can get the typical 3-bag pack of milk, strawberries in normal packs. My kids go crazy for Nutella, regular size. So they have really made things available for the smaller household, so you don't have to buy gallons of ketchup or 24 cans of tuna.
Is it a pleasant experience going there? Are the stores well organized?
Extremely well organized. I mean, it's a warehouse, but I think they've been around long enough that the Canadian consumer, the North American consumer, is very used to that. We didn't know how that would play out in the early years. It's cement floors and very stark. But when people go in there, they're just looking at the merchandise, and they're wowed by it, and it's all name brand. Top quality merchandise at great price point.
What about the wait at the checkout? Is that a problem?
I think it is for some people, but it really depends on who is doing the shopping for the family unit. If it's somebody that's around most times during the day, they can go in off-peak.
Just pop open one of those 3-ton bags of chips and you'll have it. I do want to ask you specifically about the warning. I mean, you picked your star in a day when the stock's down 12%.
Yeah.
The gasoline story is relevant for them because they operate stations. Yeah. How do you factor that into your overall view? Well,
I think that it's a small part of their overall offering, and so I'm not worried about it. Where do they really have their meat? No pun intended. But it's in the grocery side and what I call the near necessities. So the health and beauty aids and the aspirin and the shampoo and the socks. So that's always going to be there, and people are going to need those things in hard times. So I'm not worried about that. And the really high-end things, the diamond bracelets and the Swarovski crystal, they can just stop merchandising that.
Let's get on to a dog. This is a company you don't think. I mean, this is a company that's had plenty of problems. Eddie Bauer Holdings.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see a turnaround.
This is just awful.
30 seconds to tell us why.
Yeah, you know, they are what the Gap was 10 or 15 years ago, and I think you may recall that I don't like the Gap, but the Gap does bland better than Eddie Bauer does bland. Mark's Work Warehouse, I think, is doing what Eddie Bauer espoused to do and does it much, much better. Yeah, I just don't see Eddie Bauer going anywhere in the near term, and I think that they probably should not have come out of the Spiegel restructuring in 2004.
They're apparently talking about going back to their outdoor roots. Will that work out for them?
Well, it might. It really depends on execution. You know, just take a look at Mark's Work Warehouse. I think that they're doing that right. I mean, the world does not need another store that sells khaki and golf shirts. And which is what they're doing, and then they throw in a few backpacks for good measure, and it's just not something I see.
Where are they in terms of tiers? So in terms of the, you know, LL Beans, Marks, Gap,
Right.
where are they? Which kind of consumer are they headed for? Are they going for?
Well, I think they're going for, and my parents are probably watching this, but people like my parents. And
Wonderful people.
Wonderful people.
Wonderful people.
But
Not a growth category.
Not a growth
Tilly Hat
category.
crowd.
That's right. That's right, and I think that they have to do something in this retail environment with clothing a lot different than what they've been doing for the past 5 years.
Baby products, is that just a licensing thing? You see them on car seats and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and they did it with some cars several years ago. They had an Eddie Bauer, I think, Explorer or something like that. But that's just you know, a brand marketing.
Yeah, it's hard to see. I mean, so they're not, presumably they're not really seen as a serious outdoor brand right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, unless you know, putting on a golf shirt is serious outdoor living.
But it's interesting, they're really betting on it. They've teamed up with this Jim Whittaker. He became the first American to summit Mount Everest 45 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're trying to resurrect that.
Probably your parents' tenure. Your parents
Maybe.
the perfect spokesperson.
We're almost out of time. Let's just do a quick reality check. Tim Hortons.
Yes.
You liked it back in March. You're not a stock guy. You're more of a big picture guy. Stock is down 17%.
Yeah, still like them.
Yeah.
I still like them. I mean, look at them compared to, you know, Starbucks. And Starbucks is closing stores. And I just think that the Tim's sort of turn for people when they go through and what they spend is relatively small. And I think that even in an economic downturn, people are still going to be able to do the Tim's shop, but they're going to stop going to Starbucks or cut the times that they go in.